Hello, welcome to With Love Mama, the podcast. This is my new podcast, clearly. I used to have a podcast called Tanika, the podcast. Then I became a mum and I tried to bring it back and it just didn't sit right. I don't know, it was just like, I feel like it's time to close this chapter and to just start afresh because I have so many different conversations to bring to you. We have so much to talk about. So if you don't know me, I'm Tanika. I am a mama to one. So I have my baby boy Kodak. He is just over a year old and we are also welcoming another baby on the way. Right now I'm just past 11 weeks pregnant. So I've probably just about to announce my pregnancy. And this last year, I have just had so much to share around motherhood, and not only just the ups and downs of becoming a mum for the first time, but there's also the parts that I think people just don't like to speak about, how it can impact your identity, how it impacts your relationships, whether it's with your partner, with friends, with family, with yourself as well, right? And I just want to bring these conversations to you. And I think I was making it a really big thing. I was making it way harder than it actually has to be. And oh my gosh, I'm literally sitting in my car recording this and this guy was just staring at me and I don't know if he thought I was talking to him or not. So anyway, okay, he's gone. I think he thought I was trying to get his attention because I talk with my hands, just sitting in the car by myself. Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to bring these conversations through. I thought I would start this first episode just speaking you through I don't know, I guess just a little bit about me, my journey into motherhood from the moment I found out I was pregnant with Kodak to now, where I'm currently on the journey to becoming a mother of two. Obviously that is quite a while away, but yeah, let me just share some things. So when I first found out I was pregnant with Kodak, he was actually a little surprise, and honestly, a huge surprise, should I say. Honestly, I truly believe that God, our angels, our higher self, it's the universe. It's just it's all written in the stars. It actually happens for a reason. When I found out I was pregnant, I was so shocked because I was a serial cycle tracker. If you didn't know, I used to teach about the menstrual cycle, work with women in regulating their cycle. So finding out I was pregnant when I knew exactly when I ovulated, knew exactly when we'd had unprotected sex, I knew all of the things, and it was how could this be possible? But Kodak, he was, I guess, just really eager to be on this earth and just be here, if I would just put it like that, because yeah, it was just crazy that it actually happened. But we were super excited. I've been with my partner Jai for 11 years now. So it wasn't we weren't in a position to have a baby. We were definitely there. We just were going to wait a few years because at the time I was studying a degree in naturopathy. And I was wanting to finish my degree, and then would think about it then. So we were more going to think about it when we were about 30. When I was about 30. Can I just say I'm so glad I ended up becoming a younger mum, because literally last night Jai and I were literally sitting there. We've been going through a little bit with Kodak lately with his little tantrums, should I say. And I literally was to Jai, oh my gosh, how do people become mums at 40? I actually am not even 27 yet, and it's my body, my mind. I'm holy crap, it is a really full on job, it's just crazy. So yeah, my pregnancy with Kodak was something that I feel really proud of. I did a lot of work leading up to my pregnancy, working on obviously my cycle, and I had a super regular cycle, and my hormones were in a really good place, should I say. Everything was quite balanced. I didn't have any major issues or complications or anything prior to pregnancy. So everything was like pretty good. I was lucky enough not to have any morning sickness or really any major things with my pregnancy with Kodak. The only time I threw up was after I ate Indian Betty's burgers and cashew nut chicken from like a Thai restaurant. So it was kind of like, oh, okay, like things that are like probably got some like MSG or something in them just aren't agreeing with me. So I just didn't really eat that much takeout because it was just not agreeing with me. And then I was good. One thing I did experience was extreme fatigue with Kodak. Like I literally remember feeling like my whole body was like weighed to the floor with concrete, and I was like, oh my gosh, how the actual hell am I supposed to move? But in that, like having a supportive partner and like, you know, friends and family that would just like come round and just like be supportive and everything was like really great. Fast track through my pregnancy, and I had a beautiful home birth at home, obviously, is what a home birth is. We planned that. We had private midwives. We were originally going to do a hospital birth, and then it got to like when we sort of did our birth plan, and Jai was like, I was like kind of avoiding it and putting it off, and Jai was like, okay, let's like do this birth plan. And I don't know, I just like broke down and I was like, you know, I just don't think I want to be in the hospital system giving birth. It just doesn't feel aligned for me. It didn't really feel aligned for like the both of us once we sort of sat down and realized what we valued and what we both wanted from the experience. I really value like a safe, calm, peaceful environment. I really value like my body to be able to do its thing without any kind of intervention. And I was honestly shit scared of the drive to the hospital because we live from the hospital where you birth at on the Sunshine Coast. We live, I think it's about like 45-minute on average drive depending on the time of day and everything. So that also felt really scary to have to be in a car when my body's trying to do this beautiful thing and it's like almost impacting that flow, and it just didn't feel right for me. So we ended up deciding on a home birth, which was so incredible, and luckily we did, because I'm going to do a whole episode on my birth story because I think it's such an amazing story and I want to share it because there's so much fear, there's so much like just, you know, negative energy around birthing, and I just think it's important to share my story because I didn't have the birth I had for no reason. I had it because I prepared and I was educated and I was in tune with my body. So I will have like a deep dive into my birth, but I ended up having a 3-hour labor and a beautiful natural water birth at home with absolutely no pain relief, no interventions. There was no complications to my birth. I did have some blood loss after birth, but it wasn't quite a hemorrhage. It was a lot of blood. It was a little bit scary, but that is, you know, I had the midwives there. It was managed, and yeah, that was that. And the reason I'm so glad I had a home birth is because first time, you know, birth, when Jai called our midwife, and so I went into labour at 12 in the day, and when Jai called our midwife at like 12:45 and said she is in active labour, like he was timing my contractions and everything, she was kind of like, oh, okay, like she was literally out getting ice cream with her family, and she was like, okay, like I'll be on my way, like blah blah blah, like kind of asked about me. She was over that morning, and she was like, oh, we're not going to probably see this baby for a few days, but I knew I was going to have him that day. It was my due date, and I just knew I was going to be meeting my baby boy that afternoon. I just literally just felt it. Like I was like, no, I'm having this baby today. So she kind of like came over, and then by the time she got there, I was like, I had him like 40 minutes later or something like that. And the second midwife arrived while I was in the birth pool, like, and he was literally like crowning and like coming out. It was crazy. So luckily I did have a planned home birth because we had all of like the medical equipment, everything already there at home, like the oxygen all set up, all of that. Because as a first time mum, you know, going into the hospital, oh, she's only been in labour for like an hour, they're going to just probably send you home. Like, do you know what I mean? And also I'm wondering if I had that drive to the hospital, would it have impacted my timing of my labour? So yeah, crazy business that happened. And then, yeah, once that was like my birth story, going into motherhood was like, honestly, beautiful, but a lot harder than I anticipated, but also a lot easier than I anticipated. It impacted mine and Jai's relationship a lot more than we both thought that it would. But when you like reflect on it, now that it's like been over a year, it's like it was just because we both had resistance to like our own evolution in ourselves and also in our relationship. We've been together since like we were 15 and 16. Like that's a really long time to be with someone. You kind of become one in a way. Like you're almost like this like one unit, which is perfect and great, but also when you go through such a big event where you have to like find your feet and your new identity as individuals in the relationship, it can kind of be hard to navigate in a way because you haven't done it before. And it's not just us anymore, right? Like we had Kodak as this like main priority, and we'd never had, like we've obviously got like the dog, well we had 2 dogs and we have our cats, and it's like, you know, it's different when you have a kid. That's all I can say. And we just struggled a little bit, but it wasn't like anything crazy. It was just a lot. We just weren't expecting it to be that way. But we're good now, and I will definitely go into that as well in like a deep dive, because I think it's really important to talk about. I think a lot of people pretend as well that like it's a lot easier than it is, and sometimes it's super easy. Like there are things that I have been like, that is just not a problem for me, and I just choose for that not to be a problem for me when it comes to motherhood. But obviously some things also are just completely out of your control, and it's hard to like navigate. So yeah, and then now fast forward, we decided we wanted to have our babies close together. It was really funny because we planned this years ago that we would always want to have our babies close together. And then after we had Kodak, I was like to Jai, you know, I think I just want to like spend some time just with Kodak for a few years. Like maybe in like 3 to 5 years, we'll like think about having another baby. And he was kind of like a bit upset, but obviously he is like super respectful of like, well, it's your body, your choice. Like he wasn't gonna want me to do anything that I didn't want to do. Like, so yeah, then it was like pretty much our last chance before there's just a lot going on with like Jai's career. So we couldn't really, we kind of had like this last chance, and it was in October this year, that we could either try as our final moment, or we wouldn't be able to try for like a few months. And we were just like, you know what, let's just fuck around and find out. Let's just like see how we go. And obviously like I went back straight into like a regular cycle, literally like 33 days after I gave birth. My cycle went straight back to, it went to 28 days, started ovulating like the 2nd month after birth. So I knew I was ovulating, my cycle's regular, and I was just like, okay, we know what day I'm ovulating, let's just like try. And lo and behold, we didn't try for Kodak, and here he is. So trying for this baby, we were kind of like, it's bound to happen. Although it was really funny because like with this pregnancy, I was like so anxious. I wanted it so badly. Like it was like once I set my mind, okay, we're gonna have our babies like this close together, I was like, if I'm not pregnant, I'm actually gonna like crash out, because I was just like really looking forward to entering the season of pregnancy again, and just, you know, all the things. Like had the little perfect little picture mapped out in my head, everything. And I did like a test, what was it, like 5 days after conception, and then nothing. And I was like, no. And then I did a test like 6 days after, and then I think it was on the 8th day after conception that I got the positive. So I was like, wait, is that right? Anyway, I was just, I think 2.5 to 3 weeks pregnant when I found out that I was pregnant, and that was like the best news ever. I was like so happy about that. And then it was super weird finding out like and just being like, oh my God, like we were trying, but like now we're like, no, like, you know what I mean? It was just like so exciting. And then I'm not even kidding, we found out we were pregnant, and Kodak has always been like a really, really good sleeper. And it's like, we found out and then his sleep just went crazy. It was like, what is actually happening? Anyway, then we were like, oh my God, can we do this? Obviously we can do this. It's just, you know, when you're a parent, you're just like, holy shit, what have I done? Sometimes when you make decisions. But yeah, and then I was expecting, you know, my pregnancy with Kodak was like so peaceful, so beautiful. Obviously I didn't have a little toddler to chase around, but oh, he's just waking up in the back. Hi, baby. But I think it was like week 5 to 7 with this pregnancy. Oh my gosh, the all day nausea. Like I had morning sickness. I was throwing up pretty much all day, every day. Hi, baby. I was throwing up pretty much all day, every day. I was so sick. I was like, one thing I did have with Kodak was I had severe like meat aversions. Like I could only really eat like vegetarian. But with this baby, I've been like absolutely like can eat everything, but like so sick. Anyway, I was thinking, holy shit, I cannot do this. What the hell? Like, why am I so sick? Like, this did not happen to me. And then I just had this moment and I was like, you know what? This is not my truth. This is actually not true for me. So I sat myself down and I fully just gave myself a pep talk. And I don't know if it was a mindset shift or if it just happened to be that I started feeling better, but literally I have had no morning sickness since then. Like, I have felt 100% good. I've had so much more energy than I had when I was pregnant with Kodak. I can eat everything. I'm feeling good. I'm honestly having like such an incredible pregnancy. That being, I am 11 and a half weeks, but I think it's like such a huge thing in your head. Like if you believe you're going to be like feeling like shit, like you probably are. And it's like anything in life. So, okay, I'm going to have to finish this episode up because someone has just woken up and wants a cuddle in the back. But I hope you enjoyed my first episode of With Love Mama, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye!